We are live on YouTube and on Facebook, and Suze, we are going to get through some very significant conversations. We're going to talk movies. Yes. We're going to talk family social etiquettes. We are also going to see if we can fit in a game to play for your chance to win, which is, I've even gone to the effort of an incredible jingle that I've created, written.
You've got jingle fever.
Yeah. That's nice. Well done, Suze. Now, what I need to do, because last time we had some dodgy sound, and I just realised, we were going to have it again. I need to...
Next.
The Luke and Susie quotable in just moments, and it's talking about insanity.
It's Luke and Susie with Faith, Family, Culture. It's Luke and Susie with you. We're broadcasting from Greece.
The wise words of someone from yesteryear. All right, as we are exploring our Luke and Susie live discourse, we had some sound problems before. Is everyone hearing us a little bit better? In particular, Susie, can you talk, Suze?
Can you hear me now properly? A bit better?
Is that better than it was before? Great, fantastic. Because I realised I had it previously on my desk mic, and you're too far away. It wasn't on our headsets at all.
Makes all the difference.
All right, Suze, let's get into our Luke and Susie discourse. All right, Suze, you have started a thing because of your impatience and your lack of focus, Suze. Let's walk through
I'm just not good with TV or movies anymore.
Yeah.
And so I was recently asked if I've seen Lord of the Rings, and I said no, and there was horror and shock in the room that I hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
But the idea of sitting and watching it now, because they're all now released, is it's a long,
it's a big commitment.
Time commitment, a lot of time, and each movie is quite long.
Yeah.
And so I have to really get into a particular headspace to be ready for that kind of length of movie. But maybe there's another option, Luke.
Is there?
Yeah,
There's not really.
Rather than sitting and watching it in one go, I could chunk it down into bits, and when there seems to be a natural spot, I pause it and come back to it at a later time.
You can't do that if you're a decent human approaching art in the appropriate way.
Approaching art.
I can't even wrap my head around this being a conscious decision as you go into the movie that you are going to watch it in separate.
But it's fine if you read the book that way.
Otherwise,
I can read chapters and then stop. So why can't I watch a movie that way?
Because it's designed to be consumed in one go. A book is designed to be consumed in chapters. It's like, in the same way, if they wanted it to be consumed in chapters, they could have made it a TV show. But they didn't. They made it one piece of art.
Yes, but it all exists.
See,
now.
what you're trying to do is go, I don't have time to analyze an entire painting. So what I'll do is I'll block out most of it and just look at one quarter at a time.
No, I think you're drawing a very long bow there.
Yes, but I can see the entire bow all at once. And I see the bow all the way to the end, Suze. You're right. That is what I'm doing. I don't think this is a reasonable approach, but I want to get the thoughts from Dave.
I think it's unreasonable.
Dave, watching a long movie, will you be willing to break it into episodes or just watch it all in one sitting?
Well, I totally disagree with you, Luke.
Oh, that's a shock.
Because,
Dave's my guy.
well, have a look at Harry Potter. The last movie was split into two movies, but it was the same book.
Yeah,
so you had two parts of the movie.
But they did that.
They're breaking it, but that's the point. The movie gets to a point where it's too long for someone to be sitting in the dark and watching it for 3 hours.
But they did that.
You need that break.
They did that. But when it's designed to be one piece of art, which they've released as a 3-hour movie.
But the question is, Luke, why was the other 6 books all in one movie? But the last book took 2 movies.
There's
money.
It's not. The logic is, yes, it was forced on us, but watching the Lord of the Rings, you got to go and have a toilet break. You got to go and get your popcorn because it's just too long.
Hey, look, I'm
with
sleep
Susie
break,
having a point
week
where she
break.
can pause it and go
Yeah.
to the toilet or go and make dinner or do something makes sense.
look.
Right?
It's
Sitting
very
down for
reasonable.
3 hours is not reasonable.
I've wound him up. It's reasonable. Like we accept that, and I accept that you have your opinion, even if it's wrong, Dave. So that's okay.
The currently sitting at 2 on one side and 1 on the other, and you're on the side with Kathy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about. I don't know where you're going to fall. Watching a movie? Do you do it in one long sitting? Is it going to be awful if I were to pause it and break it into different parts?
One long sitting. You lose the you'll just lose the momentum if you're breaking it up. Honest. Suze, just make it a Friday night thing, a regular thing, so that you're watching a movie. Pause if you need to go to the loo or get a drink or something, but don't lose the momentum. Do it all in one sitting.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go to a cinema, you don't, it's not broken up. Yeah.
Yeah, but I have to really rev up to go to a cinema.
Yeah.
I have to really rev up for that.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're missing. My husband and I try to go to the cinema quite regularly.
It feels indulgent going to the cinema. So it's almost like going to a stage show. You put money into it, so you want to put the time there. But at home, the flexibility is there to change the rules.
The ultimate dream for Susie was if the movie said, "Look, you can come, you buy the ticket once, and you can come to that movie as many times as you like
until you see the whole thing."
That would be. But what a shock that no one does that, Susie.
No one does
that. Thank you, Kathy,
for.
Thank you, Kathy. Oh, sorry.
Maybe this is my rebellious streak. This is the time because I didn't have a very rebellious teenager.
Yeah.
This is where I'm finally doing it.
Okay, producer Sammy, that was the bounce back because I put you up on screen. In the office, are you going to create a sense of majority for my opinion? Please say that you're not going to break up the movies.
I'm going to be an awful producer and say, what side were you on?
It's not an awful producer, Samantha.
I was on the side of watching it in one sitting because that's how the artist designed it.
Yes. Sorry, Luke. I'm on Susie's side.
All right, you're muted. You're gone. Sammy's gone. She's not able to contribute to this conversation anymore. Taya, 3-hour movie or something that you feel too long, are you willing to break it up or design to break it up into chunks?
No, definitely not. I'm definitely with your opinion. I'll go with the majority there, because you're always left hanging on your seat when it gets to like the end of the episode. So you may as well stretch it all out and finish it.
That's it. It's the way it's done. And I think when it's a TV show, they give you the opportunity to break it up, Suze. But as a movie, they say you need to consume this and go on the emotional journey with us.
Exactly. You can't have a break.
Yeah.
No, but the movies don't tell me what to do. When I watched a horror movie one time,
nobody tells Susie what to do
because she wasn't a very good friend and she thought I'd enjoy a horror movie.
Yeah.
I ended up behind the seats, barely watching the screen. I closed my eyes and ears for several parts of it. That's not how they designed it to be consumed. Rebel. I'm a rebel.
You're on the floor in the cinema, hiding behind the seats.
I was.
And
I would be too.
Yeah, but Taya, she took a photo, like a selfie of it. But she's in a pitch black cinema, not even with the light of the screen behind the seats, so we couldn't see anything. Like it was just a black blur of a photo.
It wasn't even actually a horror movie. It was just a thriller.
It was slightly suspenseful.
We'll just don't watch those in general. That's the consensus on that one.
They don't do me any good.
I think I might be in the lead at the moment, so maybe we'll just leave it there.
You thought you were in the lead when it was 2 against 1. That's because you are such a big loud voice in the conversation.
Yeah, my opinion is worth multiple. You're right. That's it. Thank you for acknowledging that, Suze. Let's go to one more. Mark, what do you think? Long movies, is it okay to break it up or is it all in one go?
I think it's okay to break it up. So if it's like a 3-hour movie, I'll be happy to break it up. If it's like an hour and a half, that's a lot more manageable. So even like a TV episode, if don't have full time, if I watch the TV episode before bed and it's time to go to bed, I'll watch half of it and then come back to it the following night. So for a long movie, I'll be happy to. break it up.
Perfectly
You
fine,
are
Susie
a
says.
reasonable man,
Yeah.
Mark. You are a reasonable man.
Look, I appreciate you being a part of the show, Mark, but I regret coming to you on this particular topic. Because you've just levelled the opinions out. And mind you, if you look going, how does he work out those sums? Because isn't Susie in the lead? No, producer Sammy didn't count.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
Oh, in life she does, but not. I get to control whether she has a vote. We always love your text messages through at 0417 455 37. That's 0417 455 37. And
Producer Sammy, is this your question? Because I know you're getting set to move, and moving is what we're going to be exploring now.
Okay. Those. All right, producer Sammy is on the move. She's finding a new place to live. Sammy, you're loving the experience?
Oh, absolutely. Who doesn't like having to pack an entire house, move it, clean it, get everyone to agree on stuff? It's great.
All right, is that our question? Who doesn't love that? let's take the poll here. So Sammy, this has been a stressful experience for you. But you want to ask in particular about boxes.
Yes, so it's just kind of like having a debate on whether we pack the boxes and get them out the way and then have the big furniture, or do you wait, move all the big furniture first, because then at the new house, the big furniture doesn't have anything in the way to go where it needs to go. So it's just like this whole debacle of easier to get out or easier to get in. Which one's the better option?
Oh, okay. So the ultimate question: to take the big furniture or the boxes?
Yeah, which do you
first?
do first?
Is it complicated on the way out because you've got to manoeuvre around the boxes with the big stuff?
Yeah.
Or easy on the way out because you do the boxes first, but then complicated on the way in?
From memory, it's the big stuff first.
Yeah.
And I say that from the professional movers, because the smaller things, when it comes to packing in, can fit around the shape of the big things, but the big things can't fit around the shape of other things that are put there. So you put the most troublesome stuff in, and you work out the best way for them to fit in, and then you can put things in the gaps.
I think you are overestimating my housemate's ability to Tetris.
Hey, some people win at Tetris, some people lose at Tetris, but the game of Tetris is being played regardless.
Every day.
Everything with moving is all about Tetris, about finding a way to make it fit. See, I bought a couch for us, and I have this very tiny trailer that people mock profusely. But we bought a very big lounge suite, and I carried the whole thing in one tiny little trailer. And that was the ultimate game of Tetris and balance. I had a, what do we got? We got a 10-seater glass outdoor setting, which I transported with my tiny little trailer. And it is twice the length of my trailer. And I did it without breaking the glass. I'm just saying Tetris skills come in handy when it comes to moving anything.
Well, see, you had me really confident when you were like, you did this with Tetris. Then you got me worried when you said, and balance.
Yeah, sometimes balance really comes into play. So, Suze, what do you think? Do you agree with me? It's the big things in first, and then the smaller things fit into the gaps, or?
Let me tell you my opinion on
All
this.
right.
My opinion on this is that it is worth my effort to do a lot of the packing, so that come moving day, I don't care.
She doesn't. Actually, that is fair.
Not even
We have moved
involved.
plenty, and she has never done this process.
No. I do a lot of the packing, I do all of the unpacking pretty much, and I leave that part of it to Luke.
Yeah.
That is a great strategy.
Hey,
you very
but one that you can't implement with me. Only with people in your personal world.
Yes.
Like, I'm busy that day, Sammy.
Why don't I make you coffee and bring you a donut?
Isn't that what you're supposed to do every day in the office
No,
anyway?
It's not her job. No.
Well, at least most of it is. I mean, I don't demand the donut, but I do the coffee. I sit here when Sammy walks to the office going, I hope she comes in and offers me a coffee. And she walks in and goes, would you like a coffee? I went, I was hoping you would come in.
At least you hope politely and there's no
Yeah.
bell yet.
Yeah, not yet.
There better not ever be a bell, Luke. No,
Belle!
no.
I hadn't even thought about it. Anyway, we're being a little bit sidetracked here. Let's talk about moving skills. And
All right.
All right.
Mark, which way does it go? Big furniture first, so it's a bit more complicated on the way out, or the boxes?
It's not more complicated on the way. Start putting the caveat of the negative on. It's the big things in first and the small things, or the small things in first.
What do you think, Mark?
I think the smaller boxes first, so you get the easier stuff out the way first, and then worry about the big stuff at the end.
All right.
Although,
have you moved?
In saying that, if you've got a desk, you always fit small boxes underneath the desk.
Yeah.
In a van or truck. So, but yeah,
that's it.
For this
in the leg space,
I'd go small boxes first, and then the big stuff.
Have you moved often? Have you gone through this experience much?
No, I've helped a couple people move, but I'm still living home with mum, so I actually haven't moved a whole house by myself.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Taya, what are your thoughts on this one? The big things or the boxes? What's the order?
Again, bigger is better. So you have to put the big shelving in first so that you can put all the small things on top of that once you've already moved it in. It just makes sense. It's practical.
That's my life philosophy. Bigger is better, Sue. Big personality, big laugh.
Exactly. It just makes sense when you think of it.
I love it. Kathy, what about you? Have you done much moving? What do you think? The big furniture or the boxes first?
Oh, yes, we've moved a few times. Big furniture first, boxes around it, and then when you get the truck to where the new place is, take the boxes out and set them aside so all the big furniture can go into the house or the unit first. And then you can just put your boxes around them, because you can unpack the boxes gradually, but you need to have the furniture put into place straight away the first time so that you're not trying to rearrange furniture afterwards.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly it looks like a home when you just put the big stuff into place.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Would you believe we've actually been here 13 years and we've still got boxes in the garage that we haven't unpacked yet?
I can believe it. This actually, and it actually reminded me of genuine advice for Semi. If you haven't done it, the most critical and important thing for any move is that you put the items for a single room in a box and then you label the box. So that when people are unpacking them, they go, that's the room I'm going to put that box in. And then they put them in. So kitchen, lounge room, bedroom one, bedroom two. And so then you can have people who are genuinely useless with other things and go, if all they do is take those boxes and put them into the right rooms, thumbs up.
We had a house plan too, and we marked which ones were bedroom 1, 2, and 3 and all of that, so that those helping us could look at the house plan and know which boxes went into which rooms.
Fantastic.
Have you labelled the boxes, Semi?
We did for the kitchen.
Yeah, every room, and linen cupboards, and all those, because you want to know exactly where it should go. Here's the great thing: is if any of your housemates and friends are listening to this, and you go, "Hey, can you move the boxes into your room?" They're going to go, "She's just called me the useless one."
Hey, if they're helping, they're more useful than you, Luke Holt. So.
And get off for coffee and donuts.
Is that right, Susan Jane Holt?
Goodness me.
The trouble name.
Yeah, we're going to try Mandy. Can you hear us, Mandy? No, can't hear us.
All right, we don't have Mandy. Okay, let's move on to B's question. B's asked the question, do you feel you are old or young? I'm 41, but I feel I'm somewhat kind of old. And so B's having a laugh about it, but going, she feels older than she actually is. Suze, do you feel old or young?
Young.
You do?
Immature, probably. Is
Right.
a better word for it. Yeah.
I'm really torn about this because I don't know that I could label what I do as feeling particularly old or young. But what I do experience is when I think about what I would want to have achieved by the time I was the age I am. I don't feel like I have experienced nearly 45 years, but that's the number attached to my age. And so I feel like if I was, chasing a target, then I'm behind schedule. If I'm the worm on a political, debate, I'm below the line where I want to be. Right. Tracking on the worm. So does that make me feel like I'm old or young? Probably makes me feel like my number is bigger than I wish it was compared to what I've done. I don't mind being my age, but I would like to just have a few more things ticked off.
Oh, okay.
So I think that means I feel older than I should.
Yeah. Oh, I'd like to have a conversation with you off air about those
Yeah,
things
all right.
that you would like to have achieved by now.
Yeah, okay. Well, one of the things was to have a conversation with you off air. So, as a husband and wife team, this seems like it should be a really easy thing to do. Sometimes very challenging. Ella, you always mock us in our show and our community about how you're young and we're old.
Never.
Never. So do you feel like you are young or old, maybe even compared to your age? What do you feel?
Well, when I'm in the Luke and Susie community Zooms, I feel really, really young. But otherwise, I feel old.
Well, I'm glad we can put some perspective and freshen up your life and perspective. I'm not sure I'm okay with being the benchmark that makes other people feel younger, but it is what it is.
I
Right?
say we put it on marketing. Luke and Susie makes me feel young.
But for very different reasons. Not because we bring a pep in your step. I love it. Thank you, Ella. Let's go to actually, producer Sammy. What about you? You are young by the general average statistics, but do you feel young or do you feel old?
I feel old.
Oh, let me unmute your mic. You feel what?
I feel old, but then I don't know whether it's because I've always been called an old soul or whether the people around me just seem younger and I feel like, I want to hang out with you guys. You guys are on my brain level. Yeah. People my age or not.
You are an old soul. And you are... There's not many people I think that genuinely applies to, but your pursuit of things in the way they matter and your way you see the world is like someone who is... There's a wisdom and experience and a care factor beyond the frivolous. There's so many people at your age who are still going, none of that matters, I got time. You don't live like that.
Is it because I was born under a rock?
That's probably part of it.
I was matured in a very small incubator.
No, you and by that, if you haven't experienced Producer Semi, maybe pop culture experiences, even, what was it we had the other day where I had what happens when you assume, and that statement that everybody knows. It turns out not everybody knows. So
he was waiting for me to say the end of the joke, and I was
just
agreeing with him. So
she just thought I was calling her names. She didn't realise it was a saying.
Oh,
yeah, isn't it wonderful? Let's get some thoughts on this. Do you feel old or do you feel young, Dave?
Well, I've got a conflict of interest in this one, Luke.
Right.
I was visiting a friend on Sunday, and his business partner's wife was talking to me, and my age came about. And she was quite surprised to find that I'm 57. She believed that I was 40, and I had to prove by showing my license that I'm actually 57.
Right.
So I've had a lot of life experiences. I believe that I am very good for my age. So I don't really feel young or old. I just feel like the person that I am. But a lot of people see me younger than what I actually am. So it's also the visual side of things as opposed to what you actually feel about yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so interesting how much we gauge by, how many wrinkles should we have at this age? How should our skin look, or how should our hair look, or how should we move? There's really physical, artificial, superficial ways to determine someone's age, but wisdom, life experience, lived perspectives, all of this is more a measure, right?
But the scary thing was she told me that her parents are 5 years younger than me.
Yeah.
And I look a hell of a lot better.
Yeah. I'm just trying to picture when I was our kids' age and I thought about, 44, 45, 46-year-olds. They were like ancient. to me at that point in my life, and now I'm just living that number.
Yes.
Living that number. Kathy, do you feel young or do you feel old?
Probably depends on who I'm with at the time.
Yeah. Who are you benchmarking against? Yeah.
Yeah. Most of the time I feel young. It's only when I'm with perhaps teenagers or something like that, and they tend to make me feel like I'm old, and I'm not. And occasionally my grandchildren might make me feel old too.
And is that
because when you said it depends who you're with, I thought, the younger the person, the younger you'd feel, but it's the other way around.
And is it because of a language barrier? Like they start talking in ways that you realise you don't really know what they mean by some stuff?
Not necessarily a language barrier. It's just more the way they respond to something, or the type of music that they like, or or if my grandkids want me to run with them, and running's just not my thing anymore.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I feel young.
Yeah.
That's good.
Taya, do you feel young or do you feel old?
Well, as we can all tell, I look quite young, but I would like to say that I'm an old soul at heart.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've got got a little bit more maturity, I guess, and knowledge behind this. But it's funny to get told that I look underage. Yeah, it just means that when I'm 30, I'll still look 20. So
yeah, that's right. I mean, that's not a bad way to be. Have you always, even like when you were little, did you always feel like you were a bit more mature than your friends around you?
Yeah, I think so. There's probably growing up with like older siblings as well. Like I have a brother and he's 10 years older. So I guess I was always sort of around his friends and things like that. So it means that I probably learned a lot from them.
Yeah, and your perspective just hits a point sooner than it would otherwise. And I think there's a valid way that you get this extra wisdom and life experience. And sometimes, like, we talk about this desire for kids to be able to stay kids and not grow up too fast. But when it comes to character and perspective and wisdom, we don't want to stunt anybody from going into that. It's just don't want you to have to deal with things that, maybe are too intense for our development stages. But life experience is good.
Yeah, definitely still fun character, but life experience, I guess, do help to shape and, I guess, form you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I want to skip to what we've got as our final conversation series, but I want to move it a little bit earlier because I may have gone recently to a personal trainer, and that experience was horrific for me. I mean, he did a great job training and hurting my muscles and torturing me and making it so I could barely move. It got to the point where I was walking out of the gym like I was intoxicated. I couldn't keep my balance. I was wobbling. I leant and a little bit too far and then rubbed against the wall, and I couldn't stand straight back up. So I was rubbing my shoulder. It was horrific. And then I lost my keys after I'd walked 100 meters to my car and had to walk back up the stairs to go get my keys. And I was tortured. And I need to know that somebody else has gone through a workout experience that may have not been great. I need some camaraderie here.
Can I give you my story then?
Yes, please.
Well, you know it, because after we had Tyson, I went to a women's gym and I did the first introductory session where they just show you all the equipment and show you how it all works. And so I did a test on a few pieces of equipment, went out the back and threw up.
For a couple of tests. I love that.
It was not good.
Yeah.
Not fun at all.
So when have you ever gone for a bit of an exercise, a workout experience, and you had a bad experience? What's the worst workout experience you've had? Dave, have you hit the strong room? Have you had a bad workout experience?
I've had many a bad workout experience, especially when serving the Defence Force. We had to do a 5-kilometre run, fully kitted out in the nuclear, biological and chemical war suits. They're the ones that you can go into all the hazardous environments with the gas mask on and carrying our weapon and all the other bits and pieces. And it's around about a 30-degree day, so you're sweating. And then to top it off, they put you in the gas chamber, and the tear gas actually reacts to your sweat. So you're getting all these burning sensations, as well as being able to pour lots and lots of tears out and coughing your guts up, and you come out and you're not allowed to touch your eyes, and you just walk over and just whatever's in your stomach just comes up. And yeah, it's quite horrific. But but it proved that the suits did work. And yeah, that's only just one of the things that we had to put up with for our training.
What's fascinating, Dave, is that we have both described our workout experience with sweat, burning, and tears. But only one of us was being prepared to defend our country. But otherwise, it was the same, but different. Like it.
Well, your key words triggered that memory, Luke.
Yeah. No. Your experience is great. Mine, it just has less substance behind it. But I probably cried just as much or more. Kathy, have you had a bad workout experience?
Not really. I mean, I have gone along to gyms now and then. I try and keep up with everybody else and never can. And then something always happens and I don't go back again. So, no, I've never really had any real bad things. But what Dave was just describing sounds like pure torture.
Yes, doesn't it though? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I would like to highlight that I think it was very similar to my experience, Kathy, and that's why I'm calling my trainer a monster. Okay, can I just for a second just quickly go to producer Sammy, just in a short description, how would you describe my mood, demeanor, and my the atmosphere in the office after I got back from my training session?
Well, the one word you repeated the most I can't say on air, but other than that, it was just very expressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Loud.
Yeah.
And you know one of those dwarves that really grumpy?
Grumpy
say,
dwarf.
Thank you for sharing the load of him after that happens. It's a lot to take. It's come back from or Angry Birds.
Angry I was an angry bird, that's for sure. Taya, have you had a bad workout experience?
Look, I can't quite compete with Dave's that he mentioned, but going back to my last answer and having a brother that was 10 years older than me as a kid and our competitive side's just coming out. So when we used to go to training or when we used to go running, I can definitely say that he pushed me to the limits, just trying to keep up with him.
Right. And tell me about the pain you experienced afterwards. Can you recall?
Oh, definitely. Like, I need him to carry me home because the legs aren't working anymore.
Yeah. Like, that's how I was at the end of the session, but it's 2 days later that you know the ultimate pain's going to kick in.
Oh, that's when the worst pain sets in. So the next day you wake up, you're like, you know what? I'm fine. I've recovered. I can do that again. And then it's day 2 and it just all comes back.
All right. At least with Dave, like, it's funny because on the one hand I go, well, that was a really good comparison. I don't feel so bad. But then I go, but he was training to protect our country.
Yeah.
It was his choice, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Inflicted that pain on himself.
Yeah. Now,
he's saying no, it was not my choice.
My son said to me, like, but you chose to go to the trainer. I said, I did not. He said, well, why did you go? I said, because the gym made me. I signed up and they gave me 2 training sessions for free. And I went, well, I guess this is a part of my membership. I should do it. And then I regretted it, Suze. Big shout out to Marvin, the trainer. Hope you're having a good day. No. This should be a fairly quick conversation. Stephanie's question in dinner meals. Can pasta be swapped out for rice and vice versa? No. I think we're done here.
Well, we're not, because that's the wrong answer.
It's not the right... You can't swap pasta and rice. I know that they're carb-based foods, but they don't carry the same kind of texture and purpose in a meal. You can't. It's not the same. Rice is more of an absorbing and designed to absorb the liquid and the sauce and the curry stuff, where pasta doesn't absorb in the same way. It can at best be coated and it carries a stronger texture in the bite. They're different roles.
I've been a university student.
Right.
Living below minimum wage.
Yeah, below the poverty line.
Lounging together meals,
right.
Whatever you can get. So I get it. My answer to this is yes, of course you can swap pasta for rice. In the same way you can swap tofu for chicken. You can.
I mean, yeah, technically you can do anything you want, right? Yeah, you can put plastic in instead of rice, but...
The way our boys would answer this is, you can.
Which is usually their response when I go, can you please wash the dishes? Well, I can.
Look, it's not ideal. I don't think.
You
You're
don't.
right.
You
Pasta
wouldn't
and
choose
rice
if you had
meals
an
are
option.
different.
You
No,
wouldn't choose
I
to switch.
Choose to, but can you?
Yeah.
Sure.
All
There's
right.
no law
Okay.
against it.
Get off the fence, Susie. You know that's not how it works. Ella, swapping
Yep.
rice and pasta, are they interchangeable reasonably in a meal?
No, you can't change them. Pasta is my world. I could eat pasta every night and I wouldn't care.
Right. So, is there a particular favourite type of pasta?
Gnocchi.
Ooh, gnocchi, nice.
Interesting. See, I'm a rice man over pasta. I have pasta reluctantly. I have pasta as an excuse to have some of the sauces that go with pasta. No. That's how I justify the sauce.
I don't agree with you, Luke.
Yeah, that's okay. This is one of those ones where I'm comfortable with people disagreeing with me because I'm just, as long as I get to eat more of the sauce that I like. See, when it comes to food, I'm okay with people liking different things. In fact, I look for things our kids don't like that I really do because then I don't have to share.
Yeah, it's true.
That's the beauty of it. Otherwise, they steal all my stuff. Mark, rice and pasta in a meal plan, are they interchangeable or not, in your opinion?
I think they are. I think rice and pasta.
All right.
Really, really nice food. So definitely. Or
okay, what would you?
The other question is, could you mix rice with a pasta dish?
Oh, could you have them in the same meal? I don't know I've ever experienced rice and pasta in the same meal, Suze. That's a fascinating question to explore, Mark. Thank you for blowing our mind with that perspective. Have you ever experienced it?
Well, risotto is a rice that's with a pasta.
Okay, all
Italian,
right.
but it's not the same as like if you had penne and rice in the same meal.
Okay.
With bolognese or something.
Taya, rice and pasta, are they interchangeable?
Well, look, if Will Ferrell can put maple syrup on pasta in the movie Elf, then I guess we can sub out both of them as well. I mean, really, anything can be done. So each their own.
I feel like we should try and this Christmas replicate Elf's Christmas meal. The pasta and the syrup and all the candy and everything.
Yeah, I think you're onto something.
Yeah. How good would that be? I mean, don't tell Marvin the monster, my personal trainer, because I don't think he'll approve of that meal.
I don't think he'll approve at all.
Yeah. Let's go, Kathy. Kathy, rice and pasta, are they interchangeable?
Oh, yeah. I do it all the time. Depends on what I've got in the cupboard.
Okay. Tell me what you've changed up. Like, what have you put pasta in that is normally rice or vice versa?
Oh, tuna mornay or a chicken pasta meal, and I've put rice in instead of pasta. Yeah, it just depends on what I've got in the cupboard. And Continental make a lot of really nice different meals that you can do either with rice, or they'll say rice and I'll put in pasta, or vice versa. And sometimes I'll just say to my husband, what do you feel like tonight, rice or pasta? And he'll tell me, and I'll just go and use the one he feels like. So I've interchanged lots of times.
Well, see, it's interesting because I'm thinking about going, okay, if it was a creamy pasta sauce, I reckon that would go just fine with rice. But I don't know that spaghetti bolognese like that, the bolognese would go well with rice.
Oh, yeah, it still will. Absolutely. Okay. It's just what you're conditioned to, Luke. Yeah. You're used to having long spaghetti or something instead of rice with a meal like that, and because of its name. But, the reality is you just get rid of the name, spaghetti, and put in rice, and it becomes a different meal, but it's still just as nice.
Yeah, all right. Fair call. Dave, rice and pasta, interchangeable or not?
Definitely. You can put the rice in, put your pasta sauce in, put the cheese over the top, turn it into a rice bake instead of a pasta bake. And you can also get pasta that is based on rice flour. So you're getting a pasta that is rice, but it's just made to look like the noodles or the long spaghetti that you put into your bolognese and your marinaras and all the other bits and pieces. So it is what it is. It's just.
But could you
just getting over the eye looking at it?
Could you make a rice-based lasagna though?
Yes.
Would that work?
Yeah, you just get the rice pasta sheets. Because rice flour is just putting the rice in your blender and blending it up, and then adding the egg and the other bits and pieces to make your pasta dough.
It's still pasta.
And then you just no, it's not pasta.
Right, I know what you're saying, But if you use a different ingredient to make it be just like the other one, then it's really the other one. It's not it's not the role that rice
So
has
when
in
you
the
go
normal
to a
dish.
restaurant and ask for gluten-free, or you ask for something to be left out, is that a totally different dish?
So this is you've tapped onto something here, and you've expanded to that place. So I've had sisters who have gone, oh, I've made rice out of cauliflower rice. They go, it's rice. I'm like, it's not rice, it's cauliflower, and they're not the same. And as soon as you think they're the same, then I take a bite into it and I go, that's disgusting rice. It's fine cauliflower, but as rice, it's really subpar. But so don't try and trick me to thinking it's rice. I understand what you're saying is it's taking the role of the rice in the dish and how it balances out, and I'm okay with that. But for me, in my head, I have to acknowledge they're different, because otherwise I like what Kathy was saying, I use the yardstick to compare them to each other, call it something different, and I don't expect the same thing. So maybe that's just my mentality, Dave.
But if I put a blindfold on you, Luke, and I gave you a spoonful of rice and then a spoonful of the cauliflower rice and not tell you, what would you say?
Susie?
He would say that's cauliflower, not rice.
Yeah.
We tried,
but I didn't tell him that it was rice.
Yeah, no, that's right. But
right,
Susie,
he's saying that because he visualizes it as rice and it doesn't taste like rice, he's rejecting it because he looked at it.
No,
if he
I'm
doesn't
saying
look
it's
at
different. It's different. It's not the same. So don't pretend it's the same. Is what I'm saying.
I'm not saying that it is the same. I'm just saying is that these things can be interchanged.
I love it.
But it's your eyes that look at it and make your decision. It's not what your taste buds are saying. It's your eyes. Because
Dave,
you are offended by the cauliflower being rice and someone calling it rice. Yes, I disagree. Like, how do you get milk out of an almond?
You milk it. You got a little bucket and you squeeze tightly.
Yeah, but that's what I mean is that you go into the supermarket, you've got almond milk, you've got oat milk, you've got all these other different milks. But where does the milk come from?
Yeah, it's dirty almond water.
But that's what I mean. Yes. But people will eat and drink it regardless. But it's your visual cortex that is determining whether or not you enjoy it.
These are my favourites always when David starts going, you Luke, the best.
I love it. We get into this loop where we don't necessarily change what we're saying, we just escalate our tone.
It makes me so happy.
It hits a point where we go, I think we need to move on with the show.
It's a show
You're
in
my
itself,
favourite.
you and Dave.
Me too. We almost never sit on the same point on any conversation. I love it. So, Suze, have we got one last thing to get to before we wrap up for today? And Jonathan has had the experience in a conversation in his environment where someone was talking about from another country not understanding our culture in Australia, where if we are grown-up children and want to go visit our parents, or vice versa, our parents to visit their grown-up children, we don't just pop in. We got to call or text ahead. And that from their culture, they go, that's weird, that's strange. I don't like that you kind of almost make an appointment to see immediate family. We just, in our culture, just turn up. And Jonathan's asked the question, should you have to call ahead or text ahead to visit your parents or your adult children? And wants to know your opinion on this one. Suze, let's get into our Luke and Susie discourse. See, I'm all for an answer to, it's okay just to rock up if you live really close by and it doesn't matter if they're not there or they're busy or whatever. But I just can't wrap my head around just going, I'm going to make the time and go pop around, and then they're not there or there's something awkward that I've interrupted, and then go, what a waste of time on the travel.
When we first met, you were living in the same town as your mum and dad. And did you always call them before you went around?
It was a different era because we didn't have. I think that what has changed is we have the ability to communicate no matter where we are with mobile phones, and so when I was younger, that wasn't as prominent. It's probably fair to say there were times I just dropped by, but usually because I had a basket of washing. You're the one who asked the question, Suze. I wasn't going to bring that into it, but that would be what I'd rock up with to Mum's place with the washing for her to do for me. or maybe to get a feed.
Kathy, you're at the stage of life where you have grown children and you have grandchildren as well. Do you
That's right.
prefer it when they call, or do you like it when they just drop in unannounced?
I'm quite happy for them to drop in unannounced. However, they do understand that their mum and dad actually have a life, and that often we're out and about, particularly me, because I'm a very keen nature photographer. Being retired, I can go out with my camera every day when it's not raining. So, you know, but at the same time, always delighted. And we've only got one daughter that lives 10 minutes away. All the others are a distance away, hour, 3 hours, or, you know, whatever, away from us. So if they message and say, hey, we're in the area, can we pop in? We'll always say yes, you know. So we never have a problem with that. Likewise, pretty much the same with them as well. You know, if we're thinking we're going to travel around.
Would you ever just pop in to your grown children without texting or calling ahead?
Probably not. Just as a matter of, I guess, courtesy. I mean, they've got their own lives, and
which I've heard from parents.
And they've got you know, partners who grew up in a different life to what we did. So it's a matter of respecting them as well. But you know, just a simple text, say, hey, we're, you know, in the area, can we pop in? Usually, that's fine. And they do the same thing with us. And if they do pop in without letting us know, that's always fine. We don't have a problem with that. But it's always nice to even get that 5 or 10 minute thing at you know, notice, so we can just quickly tidy the kitchen or finish off whatever it was we were doing.
Exactly right.
For sure. Taya.
Yep.
Taya, how about you? Could you imagine yourself just being dropped in on unannounced by your parents, or would you drop in on your parents unannounced?
I think if you're surprising someone, then it's suitable. But I think in another aspect, like I personally wouldn't want, you know, people just rock you up at my house just because you might be in the middle of something. So you'd just rather know. And then, you know, if they want to stay for a long time, you can make sure you've got like drinks or stuff ready for them. So I would say call ahead unless you're obviously organising a surprise. Because then when you do surprise them and rock up at random times, it's really exciting because they would have no clue that you're coming.
If the surprise is the purpose, and you're also, but I think it's what we wrap our head around is to go, but I don't want to also be in a position if this is not a good time, and so you have that kind of plan B. I don't need to stay, but I wanted to drop this off, and I just wanted to surprise you, versus that I'm expecting that you'll hang out with me for an hour.
Yeah, exactly. And you might not want to. So, you know, we always love to see them. However, sometimes it's like, okay, we would have just rather pre-warning.
Dave, what about you? Do you think it's okay to drop in on family members unannounced, or should you call or text ahead?
If it's an event like a birthday or something like that, just rocking up to the door. But in most cases, it's courtesy to find out whether or not they've got plans, because you show up and people then feel obligated that they have to entertain you and possibly miss
we seem
out on you can just ask and find out, is it okay to drop in? Yep. But we're leaving in 15-20 minutes, and then it's a decision whether or not that 15-20 minutes is going to cover what you need to do, or you'll say, okay, I'll catch you next time. It's just making sure that you're not imposing on someone else's plans just by appearing out of the blue.
Yeah, and we had that too. I think in particular, we are usually pretty comfortable with people popping over, and we enjoy the drop-in. But when we had fairly newborn children, it just wasn't always convenient. There was routines and there was schedules, and it was difficult because the time suited them, but it wasn't necessarily ideal for us. And so you were kind of expressing to me sort of, oh, it's just a bit hard. I want to see them, but... And so I came up with a perfectly legitimate strategy that you wouldn't let me execute. Because my theory was, if I answered the door with no pants on, they wouldn't want to come in, and they're probably not going to come back. Problem solved.
I still don't let you work that strategy.
And I still suggest it every time. Our kids are 13 and 11, and still that strategy is still put on the cards, on the table. But not yet, Suze. One day I'll get my way. I think that wraps us up for today. Oh no, actually, we're going to play a game before we wrap up. We're going to give everybody on the call a chance to play a game. Suze, do you want to talk so I can just add my button here and get it ready?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just give a bit of a context.
So we've got a game to play. It's not a new game for radio. It's kind of like, I guess, the sound, except you're not getting the sound of the object. You're getting what the object sounds like in a box.
Yeah.
So what is this thing in a box is what we're going to be trying to get you to identify. And Luke has been getting jingle fever lately, and he keeps writing jingles for as many things as he possibly can. So he has put together a jingle for this where he has tried to squeeze in a whole lot of words into a teensy tiny amount of time.
No, look, no, don't start critiquing my jingle.
It's a great jingle.
It's Luke and Susie exploring faith, family, culture in fun and meaningful ways, and we've got some prizes to give away if you just tell me what item is in my hand. But it's not just in my hand. It's in my hand in a box. "20 questions.
You have 20 questions to do it.
Yeah. You got 20 questions in order to try and work out what's in the box. I'm even going to give you, right from the word go, a shake. There's something in this box. And you can ask me any question you want, and we're going to try and see if we can work out what it is within 20 questions as a group. And we'll just keep this going until we get our 20 questions. So let's see if someone's got a question to ask and to try and work this out. If you do have a question, text it through to 0417 45537. That's 0417 45537. Let's see if we can get things rolling with a question, Suze, for In the Box.
All right, let's start with Ella.
Ella. What's it?
It's rattling around.
Yeah.
There's 20 questions altogether. Would you like to ask a question about what might be in the box?
Was the jingle supposed to be like a part of it?
The jingle doesn't give you any clues.
The jingle gives no clues.
Okay.
It's just fun and entertaining.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that was a really low enthusiastic response.
Is it something round?
Is it something round?
That's a great question.
Okay, I'm going to need you to clarify what you're thinking, as in ball type round or rounded edges. They could be very different answers depending on.
Ball type round.
No,
because we can't hear.
You can't. Hang on a sec. You can't hear anything there.
No.
All right. Okay. All right. Let's go to. So it's not a ball type round. It's not. Okay. Let's go, Taya. You got a question to try and work out what's in the box?
So is it just like one singular item in the box?
Yes. Yes, it is. I won't count that as a question. So.
Thanks. Is it an everyday like household item?
Oh, okay. I need some more definition over what you mean by household item.
Would you find it in your kitchen?
No, but that's a really good line of questioning to work out where it might normally live. That's great. It's not a kitchen-based item.
That's a really good question.
Yeah. All right, Mark, have you got a question for In the Box?
I didn't hear it before, but is it a TV remote?
No, it's not a TV remote. It is, so it's not in the kitchen. It's not like a ball type round item, and it's not a TV remote. So there's 3 questions we got through. If you have a question you want to pose for In the Box to try and work out what it is, then you can text through to 0417 45537. All right. There's something in the box. You've got 20 questions to work it out. The questions we've had so far, Suze.
Is it ball shape?
A round item?
Type
No.
item, and it's not.
Yeah.
Is it an everyday household item that would be found in the kitchen? The answer was no.
So
to
not in the kitchen. So the answer of no was not specifically defined as it's not a everyday item.
Yeah.
It's just not an everyday item in the kitchen.
And it's also been not identified as not being a TV remote.
Not TV remote. So let's see if we can get another question here. Kathy, have you got a question for what's in the box?
Is it round like a coin?
Sorry, I had you muted there. What was the question?
Is it round like a coin?
No, it's not round like a coin, which determines a sort of flat and then circular sort of... No, it is not that way at all. Dave, do you have a question for what's in the box?
Is the item used in your office?
Ooh, that's a good... So you're trying to narrow it down. Is it an office type item? No. Ironically, it's not. And yet, I chose this item because it was on the table in the office. But
it's not an office item.
It's not an office item. In fact, it cannot be used in the office. It practically is impossible to actively use it for its function in the office. Cannot happen.
So what was it doing in your office, Luke?
I have no idea, Dave.
I have no idea what this item is.
No idea. Susie doesn't know.
My curiosity is piqued at this point.
Okay, do you have a question to add to the equation, Susie? I'll give you a question. Yeah.
Is it smaller than the size of my palm?
Yes, it is smaller than the size of the palm of your hand.
Okay.
But nobody knows how big your palms are. You could have giant palms, Suze.
I have average sized palms.
Right, okay. So we're getting closer. We know it's not an office item, but it is able to be placed in an office and a small box. It is smaller than the palm of your hand. It's not in the kitchen. It's not rounded in multiple ways. Like it's not rounded like a coin or a ball. But that doesn't mean I've said it's not rounded. I haven't said it is. I haven't said it isn't. But there's really clarifying the type of rounding. Right? We're getting closer.
Are we?
Well, everything, you work out things by deduction, Suze. You eliminate
14
things.
questions left, I think, by my count so
Right,
far.
yeah, okay. 14 questions to go to see if we can get to the point. We're getting closer. We're trying to narrow down where this item might be found. Once we work out where this item might be found, then I reckon it could be a quick process to actually working out the item.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. If you've got a question you want to ask in the box, then text through 0417 45537. That's 0417 45537. It's been great to hang out today.
It has been. That's us done for the day. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much to everybody. We'll catch you next time.